Hi everyone, welcome back to this series of Amibroker tutorial videos. Thank you so much for joining me. This one is a really cool one, and it's actually a question from reader Derek, who says, Dave, could you please do a video on coding the Chandelier stop in Amibroker? I noticed that you have a tab devoted to Chandelier in your Amibroker configuration. Many thanks, Derek. Absolutely, and that's a great question. In fact, the way that I had done the Chandelier stop previously was using looping in Amibroker. Now that's, given my very basic coding skills, that's not something that I was comfortable in sort of doing a video on, even though I'm learning more about it gradually. The other way is actually using the ApplyStop function using Amibroker itself, and this way is a lot easier. It's really cool, and even later on in another video I'll show you how to plot that on your chart as well, because even though it's a little bit more difficult, it can be done so that you can visualize exactly where your stops are. But back to the ATR stop or the Chandelier stop, the basic idea of it is using average true range, or ATR. Now ATR is a normal indicator. If I just insert that here, this is what it looks like. That's your ATR. It's a very common indicator, but all it is the range, or the average range of the last X amount of bars. So if you've got the ATR of the last 5 bars, it's the average true range from top to bottom, the average of the last 5 ranges. So using that, people use that as a way to measure volatility, because if the bars are really wide, and I'll try and find some good examples, but like this for example, if there are big long bars, then obviously the average range is going to be bigger, and so the volatility, or the average true range as well, will adjust because of that. So a lot of people use this Chandelier stop as a great way to sort of get around if volatility increases, or if it decreases, then obviously their stop loss adjusts as well. It's really excellent. So let's jump straight into it and figure out how to code this. The first thing I'm going to do is go to Analysis and Formula Editor. Now, to set up our average true range, if we say our stop length, all we're doing here is just creating an array. So an array, we can call it anything we like. It's literally up to us to create it from scratch, which is great. But what I want it to be is the average true range. So ATR, that turns blue. That means Amibroker recognizes it, and we can open up our bracket. Now, it also, once we open up our bracket, it asks for what it wants, and it just wants the range. So let's say the average true range of the last 10 days. Very simple stuff. Now, it doesn't stop there, because with your Chandelier stops, it might be the average range of the last 10 days, but that wouldn't give you much leeway, because as you can see here, it might be quite a tight stop if we do it that way. So to get around that, people multiply it by whatever they want. In our case, we're going to take that average range and we're just going to multiply it by 3. So 3 asterisk, which is the multiply, average true range of the last 10 days. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just really quickly set up our position sizing and our buy signal as well. It's really just going to be something very simple, just for the sake of this video. Now, all of that aside, we've got our buy signal. So all we have to do is say buy, and Amibroker recognizes that because it turns bold, so that's good news. And we want buy signal, and a semicolon to end the line. So don't forget, that's what we set up previously just here. So buy signal, that's the close over the moving average over the last 150 days. Pretty simple stuff. Now, if we want to set up our sell signal, this is where we start to use ApplyStop. And to do so, we don't want a sell signal as such. So we want to say sell equals 0, or sell equals nothing, for example. And then that's when we use our ApplyStop. So if I type in ApplyStop, it turns blue. Again, that means Amibroker recognizes it, which is great. And it also means we can open up our bracket and it will tell us what we're looking for. So to do the average true range or the Chandelier stop, we want the stop. So the first thing it wants is the type. Now what that means is that we can type stop type and then the type that we actually want. Now if we just quickly jump to, say for example Google, and if we go Amibroker ApplyStop, the first thing that comes up, and you know, the Amibroker, the references there and the information on the Amibroker website is absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend checking it out, and the support at Amibroker is really good as well. It's apart from being a great system, you know, that's a good side to it as well. But this will give you all of the information that you need. So as you can see, we've got our stop types, and there's a few different sorts. So we can either type in stop type loss, profit, trailing, N bar, or we can use these numbers as well. What I'm going to do is just go stop type trailing, and that turns bold. So again, that means Amibroker recognizes it. That's good news. The next thing it's looking for is the mode. So let's jump back to the website and look at the different modes. So what we want, there's no stop, stop mode disable, there's percentages, there's points, or there's percent of profit or risk. What we're looking for is stop mode point. So if I put that in our code, that turns nice and bold, and we can move on to the next thing, and that's really good. The next thing it wants is the amount. So we've got our trailing stop. That means it'll hang it from the highest level there, and it'll stop it out if it closes below. We've got our stop mode in points. So in other words, just the points in the stock, or the figures like these, say 27, 28, 29, whatever the actual numbers are here, that's what we're going to be using. Now, how many points? What's the amount? That's what's actually looking for now. And the amount is what we set up previously in our stop length. So that's 3 times the average true range of the last 10 days. I'll put that in there. Now, because that's an array that we set up ourselves, it doesn't need to turn bold, but it does need to be obviously set up correctly here so that Amibroker has no problems with it. Now the last few things, there's 3 last things using ApplyStop to do the Chandelier stop. Now I really recommend checking out this page on Amibroker. It will give you a lot of different scenarios here. So you've got a few different scenarios on when it will exit. For example, if you get a signal during the day, do you exit the next day? Do you exit intraday? And you want that to really reflect the way that you are trading yourself personally. So here's the way that I will do it. What I want is 2 here. So by putting a 2 here, if I just quickly jump back to the site, exit at stop 2. So what that does is that will trade on the next day's open and exit on that stop by the open price when the previous day hits of the high-low range hits the stop. So for example, if I'm scanning after hours or after the market closes, I want to be able to scan, see if it hits my stop, and then sell on the next day's open. So that's what I'm looking for there. Also what I'm looking for, this true section, basically that, and again, if we look at the Amibroker website just to get an idea of what that means, it's volatile. The volatile section can either be true or false. So if we've got volatile equals true, that means that the amount can vary during the trade. So in other words, our average true range, we want that to change because the range is changing, you know, as the trade goes on. So we want volatility set to true. So if it can vary during the trade, volatile set to true, and they also make mention that it allows the single line Chandelier exit implementation, which is what we're kind of doing here. So this is really good. So we want that set to true, and last but not least is the next trade entry delays. So in other words, I want to wait 1 day for us to enter into the market again. Now you could put, and that's 1 bar, sorry. So if we're looking at a weekly chart, that would be 1 week. If we're looking at monthly charts, that would be 1 month. For example, you could have 4 days or 4 weeks, 5 days, whatever it is you like. That is up to you. Now to close off that line, we just put a semicolon, and that's our code complete. We can obviously, if we're editing the code as well, it's prudent just to click this button here and check that will make sure that there's no errors. And if there are errors, it will usually tell you where they are or what they are, and also take your cursor to wherever the error is, so you can sort of have an idea of what might be wrong. And again, looking at the chart, this is what it looks like on the chart. In the next video that we do, I will show you how I actually plotted that on the chart. That too is on the Amibroker website. Really, really great stuff. Highly recommend stopping by there, and I can't wait to show you what that looks like in the next video as well. Guys, I hope this has helped in some small way. I hope you have a great week. Stop by my website, it's asxmarketwatch.com. There's heaps of free content there, and until next time, bye for now.